What's up, good people? Artwork Geo tapping in, and I just wanted to address that fear of getting started. It's real. A lot of us we have great ideas. We've sat with them. We want them to be perfect, and all of that just to never get started. I'm a victim of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to use the word victim, but I'm guilty of it. Me being on this channel, creating this channel at this point is an example of me saying, you know what? It's time to get started. That fear of worrying about the outcome, worrying about if it's not ready, if I put it out there and people don't perceive it right. Sometimes you just got to go for it. If you're watching this video right now, I'm sure you got a great idea that you just have not put out because you have these hangups that aren't doing anything for you. That great idea that you have that you've been sitting with for so long. And see, that's why I say don't talk to people. Don't share your ideas with them. Just put it out. Why are you sharing it with somebody that's not ahead of you? They don't have a great idea. So what they may do, instead of encouraging you, they may discourage you. They may put something into your mind that may throw off the idea, and now the idea is tainted. Now what you wanted to do in terms of your goals and your aspirations, they're tainted. You don't want people tainting what you got going on. So the best thing you can do is just work with your head down. Don't share it with everybody and just put it out. Get started. I've looked at people that got started with their content on YouTube. Now they legit paid YouTubers getting plaques and doing what they doing, man, living off of YouTube because they got started. See, time going to be what it's going to be regardless. See, now I have to allow time to do what it does for this channel. Painted Fresh Daily, if I would have started it 5-6 years ago when I was sitting with ideas of putting out this type of content, but I felt like it needed to be a certain way, it would be way up by now. You know what I'm saying? But I have to also say at the same time, I did get started. So that's why I say it's never too late, because for me, at any given point, it's going up from here. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like wherever it is you get started, as long as you get started, because you always got a chance to get started. Right now can be when you get started. First thing you do in the morning can be when you finally get started. Put that idea out. No one will ever know you exist and that you got this crazy dope idea until you actually put it out. And so what if it's not perfect the way you want it? Because if it goes out to the right people, they're going to speak to that. They're going to be able to understand where you're coming from and encourage you to keep going and keep encouraging you to build. It's like them pictures that got just dots and numbers on them, and you got to connect them, and you like looking at it before you start connecting the dots. And I feel like that's where that come from. Connecting the dots is really those pictures where you trying to figure out what the image is going to be. And that's not really your job. The job is to just get started, start going from 1 to 2, 2 to 1 to the next number, 3, 4, and so forth. You know what I'm saying? That's how you start to eventually see the picture, and it start getting clearer to you. And you like, oh, okay. But imagine if you never got started and you just sitting with it, doing the numbers in your head, like, okay, if I go this way and I put one. Meanwhile, somebody else is over there connecting their dots and they see the bigger picture. They getting the picture. While you sitting and trying to figure out what it could possibly be, or man, I don't want to connect the wrong number or the wrong letter or however they set it up. You know what I'm saying? If we talking about one of those image pictures where you got to connect the dots on them, you sitting and you trying to figure it out and you just never get started. And it's a fear that I know we all have because there's things like social media. There's the people we talk to that we shouldn't be sharing these ideas with, that'll have something to say and discourage us from really getting started and putting it out there. And these people have never got started. So it's a domino effect. Misery loves company. So you share these ideas that could have been $1 million ideas that could change you and your family's life. But yet you don't want to get started on it because you're worrying about it being perfect and what people will say and what they'll think. Sometimes you got to grow in front of the camera. Like, I'm sure each of my videos will show growth. You know what I mean? Like, my pace in some of my videos will eventually start to get better, because when I first started doing this just a few videos ago, I had a certain thing within me that now I feel a little different about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was worrying about certain things that really wasn't my concern. And that's why I never really got started with doing this type of content to begin with, because I wanted to sit and rehearse the content. I wanted to sit and make sure I brought up certain points. But what I realized, I'm like, man, you know what? You telling this overall story, and you might miss certain points in certain videos. But when you review them and you realize what you might have left out, do another one and touch on that part in the next video. But there's so many things under the umbrella that's related to what my brand is about, what I want to talk to you guys about, man. It's really just getting started with it. And everything else will start to make sense as I go. You know, my website, man, I've been building that website for a minute. I had a website before this one where I was trying to drop ship method, and I ain't really put it out to people, and I can really say that I have been putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? I did get started, but it's about that next part of it. What's the next thing? It's not just about the getting started part. It's me following through, getting started on that next thing, because it's all connected for me. That's just my personal thing that I'm doing. So if you have gotten started with whatever your idea is, keep your mind on that big picture and just keep planting seeds and making sure that you're taking it to that next step. Because we'll do what we feel is like part of the starting process, but it's still about keeping it going and being consistent and getting started on that next thing. You have to have your mind locked in on, okay, whatever it is I'm supposed to do, I'm just going to lock in and get it done. And I might not have it all figured out, but I know ultimately it's part of what I need to do. See, that's what makes me feel better about what I do, and having mistakes in there. Like, nothing's perfect. So it's going to be some hiccups. It's going to be some things that ain't ideal, but I know it's all speaking to my bigger picture. So I have to allow myself grace to be like, look, bro, you're going to cut the camera on. You're going to speak freely about a topic you're passionate about. Make sure you stay on that topic as much as you can. But then once you do that, you got to be consistent with it and keep getting started on that next thing that speaks to the big picture. Like you start to not give something so much power when you realize there's so much more things to get started on under the same topic, under the same energy that you on. Like, there's a lot of different things you got to do. And see, nobody wants to talk about it from this standpoint. A lot of people, like I say, man, sometimes they really are already where they want to be. And then they make it seem like, I want to pull you up. I want to help you before feet. Nah, this is somebody who's in their grind, in their process, and letting you know at any point you can start your process, because it's going to be a whole bunch of starts under that umbrella of what it is you're doing. But you got to make that first jump to be like, man, you know what? I want to start a little cooking, service, sell food or something. I don't know if that's what you do. But you have to get started on a dish. You might have 50 ideas on what you want to offer people. But I guarantee you, if you just ball up a name of each thing you thought of, put it in the hat, and you pull one out, it's more important that you get started on whatever that thing was that you pulled out than to be like, nah, but if I start with this, it's going to be people that probably don't like this. So maybe I should probably, and then you wasting time. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get started on that part, the victory ain't in just deciding on, okay, I got the item that I'm going to be cooking. It's going out and getting the utensils, getting the ingredients. So you got to get started on all of those things too. That's why I say, man, the fear of getting started is us fearing that, okay, I'm not good enough for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I do once I do get started? Like, then I got to do this next, and we start overthinking. But if you just hit that go button, that green button, just to get the train moving, it's going to all start connecting. That's the beauty of it. Nobody's talking about how it just starts to work in your favor once you put in the effort and meet it halfway. It's a wrap after that, because you got started, man. But with the mindset that you got to keep getting started on each step. It's steps to it. It's not a let me overthink it and just keep putting my mind on the finished product and how I want this to go. That's cool. You want to have that, on paper, and you want to have things mapped out to have structure. But if you never get started on it, what's the point of it? If you never say, okay, today I take care of A, boom, you got A taken care of. So now let me get started on B. Now you get started on B. So now you feel confident enough to move to C, D, and so forth. That's how this works. You know, it's a domino effect, man. They all work together. Synergy effect. However you want to word it, man. It's just about getting that first thing started and then just keeping it going. So I feel like y'all get me, man. I don't want to keep driving it home like that. You know, I just wanted to address that because that's what, you know, I think is really a good point at this stage of this channel to really address that, because I'm technically getting started on this idea, but I'm also getting started under my umbrella of Painted Fresh Daily. It's part of my brand, Fresh Paint Company. You know what I'm saying? That whole thing is just all speaking to the same point, but I had to get started on something to get to my next thing. There's so many other things that I did and I got myself to this point, but it's because I had to move to that next thing, and then that next thing without the fear of feeling like it ain't good enough. It's not ready. Man, you know what? I feel more confident about this than I ever have about any of the ideas that I was putting together, because once I got started and I'm actually doing this, I'm realizing like, man, like I was sitting here overthinking this. Like, really? Like, come on, I could do this. Because it's really me being myself, speaking my truth, and found my topic. You know what I'm saying? That was a start. It was a start for sure. But it's a whole bunch of starts. Like, that's really my point, man. It's not going to be just one time get started, because I know a lot of us then got hung up on that. It's a lot of people watching this video right now are a quality few that are like really sitting and being like, yeah, but you know, I got started. I got my LLC. Like, if you want to start a business, a lot of people, they start and they go get an LLC. You know, they get it on paper. I got a homie who went and got an LLC, or he's been wanting to focus on getting an LLC. And like I told him, I'm like, man, that's cool. That's part of the process. But if you can't go do that, because he sometimes, you know, because he got a family, he get caught up in like having bills, and, you know, me too, man. Like, but I'm like, what can I get started on that I can afford right now? See, because it's a whole bunch of starts. It's not just that one thing. And so with him focusing on that one thing, he's missing all these other things that he can get started on. Do what you can do for free, and then everything else will start to connect. It's a whole list of things that we need to get started on. Whatever your idea is, don't need you to just hit the button once. You got to keep doing that and being consistent, and it will get easier. You create a routine, a system for yourself. It's so many different things that I could break down to help you understand that it's more to it than just that one start. But at the same time, it's the most important. If you never get started on anything, you won't know that you got to move to the next thing and the next thing and what that looks like. But then when you open it up to yourself, you start saying, damn, it's never really as hard as I thought it was. Like, this is actually something that I can do. So now you confident. And now they done fucked up because, yeah, and I finally cursed on my channel. I don't think I even cursed on any of my videos, but they finally fucked up. They finally put you in a position where you realized getting started was the key. Because now I can get started on this other thing. Now I can get started on this. Now I can, you know what I'm saying? That confidence kicking in, it's a wrap. So again, I ain't going to keep driving it home because I'm passionate about this, man. I really should have started my whole series on this, you know, just like addressing getting started, because it was like, what better than when I get started to talk about it. And I've said the word start and started. I don't know how many times. Like, if somebody want to count how many times I said it, and let me know in the comments. And if you right, you know what I'm saying, I might hook you up with something. But yeah, because I'm going to count myself. Whatever number you give me, I'm going to go back and I'm going to count them. And then we're going to see if you right or wrong. But yeah, man, I ain't going to hold you. I just really want y'all to get started, man. That's my whole point. So if you found any value in this video, I appreciate you tapping in. That's what a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll holler at you. It's work.